Cardiac Arrhythmias and Obesity Research Lab. My name is Kedar Aris. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Physiology and Biophysics and an adjunct faculty in the Department of Biomedical Engineering at University at Buffalo. For this episode, I wanted to share my perspective on what makes for a good job talk. So the way I approached a job talk, assuming it's a 45-minute talk, was to divide it into three parts. The first part, which is the first 5 to 10 minutes of the job talk, is where I give an executive summary of my science and the vision for my lab. Then the middle portion, which is the next 30 to 45 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes, is where I make a deep dive into one or two projects that I want to talk about that exemplifies the kind of research I do. And then the last 5 to 10 minutes is where I can recap the science and the vision for my lab, but also more importantly, tie it to the department's mission, vision, and how I can be a good fit for the department. So let's spend a little more time addressing what each of those three parts entails. So for me, the first part, which was the first 10 minutes of the presentation, were really critical because that's when the audience is the most curious and most interested in your research. And it's important to communicate your science and vision in a manner where even if they don't pay any attention to the remaining part of your job talk, they can walk away after listening to the first 5 to 10 minutes and get a sense of, okay, this is what Kedar's lab can do, and this is what he plans to do moving forward. As long as you can communicate that, you will have succeeded. So the first 5 to 10 minutes of your job talk is going to be critical. And in that portion of your job talk, it's important to address the following questions. One, what is the research problem you're trying to solve? And why is it important? Why would solving that problem make a big difference? Second is, what are some of the techniques, technology that you bring to the table that will help address the question you said you were trying to answer? And finally, how is your research going to move forward? What do the next 2 to 3 years look like? So answering those three questions are going to be critical in understanding and communicating your science and your vision for your lab. The middle portion, which is the 30 to 35-minute portion of your job talk, is important, where it's really up to you how you want to dedicate that. You could spend the entire 30 to 35 minutes on one single project and make a deep dive, explaining all the nitty-gritty details. Or if you have had multiple projects, you could just identify 2 or 3 projects you want to talk at a high level and highlight the ways those projects are important, and that exemplifies the kind of research you are doing and you will be doing. It's really up to you. And then the last 5 minutes is where you bring the audience back by recapping again the science that you do, the vision you have for your lab, and more importantly, how does your science and your vision fit into the department's vision and strengths and mission? And how, if there is any teaching component for it associated with it, how are you going to fit into that? If there is a service component, how are you going to tackle that? Perhaps you could become part of a faculty committee. Perhaps you could offer to teach a class or two, or create a new class that's not been currently taught in that department. So those are some of the aspects that you may want to address in the last 5 to 10 minutes while you are recapping your science, your vision, and the fit into the department. Now, obviously, this part will require a research ahead of time, but it's important to do because that will show the powers that be that you have already done your homework and you are really interested in being part of the department. Now, if you're able to do all of that, and believe me, I have sat through multiple job talks, enough job talks to suggest that very few have actually checked off on all of this aspects where they were able to successfully communicate their science, vision, and fit into the department in a meaningful way. But those who have done that have made the shortlist and very often have come away with offers. So that doesn't mean that following my recommendation will land you a job offer, but it will definitely show you in favorable light when it comes time for making decisions. So that's my recommendation. So to recap, a job talk, if it's a 45-minute job talk, I would recommend divvying it up into 3 components. The first part, start strong, articulate your science, articulate your vision. The middle portion, focus on 1 or 2 projects, make a deep dive if you feel like it, or just highlight the research that exemplifies the kind of work you will be doing in the lab. And then the last 5 minutes, focus on bringing the audience back together, have a through line that shows the kind of research and vision for your lab, as well as how you fit into the department's strategic goals in terms of research, teaching, and service. And if you're able to address all of those, you will have done a really good job with your job talk opportunity. So now there are a few other aspects of giving a job talk, but we'll address that in the next episode. Until then,